Hello everyone, with Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the Caribbean. It is Saturday evening, April 22, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know that there's been like in your ear recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. I respond to all comments and I really live for this stuff. Alright, so taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that we have a high pressure ridge right there to the northwest of Africa, and we also have a cold front right there to the north of the main development region as well as to the north of the northeastern Caribbean. Taking a look at the visible satellite images before the sun went down, we can see that for the most part we have some lingering clouds across sections of the greater Antilles. You can also see the leftover clouds associated with that trough right there to the north of the eastern Caribbean. And for majority of the basin, we don't see much easterly tradings going on with that easterly push of winds and clouds across the Caribbean because the winds are very much relaxed at this time. You can also see a lot of cloud cover right there across portions of South America. They've been getting a lot of overcast skies, showers and thunderstorms at this time as well. However, we'll be focusing more on the weather across the Caribbean region later on. Let's focus our attention right now on the prediction that was made across Jamaica for today's weather. In yesterday's video, it was stated that we would have received some rainfall across sections of eastern and central parishes, and with the bias across sections of southern Jamaica, so especially the St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew and St. Thomas. And what ended up happening, a post was made at 2:31 p.m. this afternoon highlighting some clouds bringing overcast skies and rainfall to those very spots. So sections of St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, portions of Kingston and St. Andrew, portions of even Portland and St. Thomas got in on some amount of overcast skies and rainfall. And we indeed have those commenters on our Twitter page confirming the rainfall. Jacqueline McCarthy stating, plenty nice rain in my neck of the woods, Spanish Town. Rodrigo Cowan stating it's raining heavily in Freetown. Moving on to our Instagram followers, we see that we have Portmore Bell stating raining in Greater Portmore. His Beauty Herbie stating Old Harbor Road and I am enjoying the rain. Moving on, we can see Novelet stating raining in Mitchelltown, Clarendon. Chiblu Marie stating overcast and drizzling in Hope Pastures. Designers PRYD stating heavy showers now in St. Catherine. I am already stating Kitty Town literally underwater. Kemar stating rain a beat over Central Village. Yeah, no. So we indeed had that confirmation that we got that rainfall today. And if we even take a look at the visible satellite images before the sun went down, we can see how those clouds evolved, took over majority of the south coast in general, especially the southeastern coast. And that's due to the fact that we didn't have much of an easterly flow. We usually have a lot of clouds pushing off towards the western portions of the island. But due to the lack of winds, and then we have more of the wind starting to come in more from the north throughout the day. So majority of those clouds, built up in the inland areas of some of those parishes, and then they were pushed off towards the south or the southeast. And with that wind shear coming in from the west, it caused that uplift and convection across those areas. And we indeed had some amount of lightning flashes in there across sections of St. Catherine as well. We could see that right there just for a brief second. And if we even take a look at Doppler radar images at this time, we can still see some lingering showers right there off to the south of the island. All of that rainfall was responsible for the wet weather this afternoon. If we even take a look at the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, we can see that we have confirmation of that rainfall, especially across southern Jamaica this afternoon. So it indeed took place just as predicted. Taking a look at the temperatures for tonight, we can see that we have 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 24 degrees Celsius in Kingston. If we have a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we can see that 1 p.m. on Sunday has Jamaica in the clear. We don't see Jamaica being embedded in any yellows or oranges or reds that indicate above normal temperatures. And we don't see Jamaica embedded in any light blues or dark blue colors that indicate below average temperatures. So we're in the clear. We should be receiving average temperatures for tomorrow. And we know that the average temperatures for the month of April in Jamaica is 88 degrees Fahrenheit. And when we look at the thermometer, that's the equivalent of about 31 degrees Celsius. Taking a look at the dry air map, we can see that the driest air at this time is right there off the coast of Africa, as well as right there across portion of the Gulf of Mexico. Jamaica has more moist air with all of those yellows and blues at this time. Taking a look at the Saharan dust map for 2 p.m. on, hold on, I think I got the maps mixed up. Alright, so we're looking for Sunday at 2 p.m. So we can see now that we have some amount of hazy skies right there across portions of the Eastern Caribbean, not to mention the main development region as well as across sections of Africa. Jamaica is in the clear for 2 p.m. on Sunday. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can see that Jamaica is still being surrounded by 1 meter wave heights or less, as indicated by the key at the bottom, and we have consensus on the GFS model as well. And that's due to the fact that we'll still be receiving some weak winds, and those seem to be coming in more from the north, and we see that all of that air is being piled up across inland areas, especially across southern Jamaica. So we might just have a repeat of what happened today across the island, if not weaker. So today we had it stronger, maybe it might be a bit weaker tomorrow, and we still have that wind shear coming in from the west or the west southwest across the island for tomorrow. So we might have some of that rainfall lingering across those spots, maybe even up to the evening hours as well. Taking a look at the rain forecast for tomorrow, we can see that 3 p.m. on the Euro and the GFS models have some amount of blues across sections of some south central and southeastern parishes in Jamaica. So we indeed might get in on some more rainfall. It's not as robust as what we saw in yesterday's forecast, but we still have some rainfall to receive. So try to get that laundry done early. If we even take a look at the accumulated precipitation forecast, we see something similar. I know that when we have consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. And we're indeed grateful that we're going to be getting more rainfall in the month of April, considering that it is one of the driest months of the year across Jamaica. So we'll take all the rainfall that we can get. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let's focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we can see some amount of clouds bringing some amount of afternoon convection across Cuba, Hispaniola, portions of Puerto Rico as well. Majority of the heaviest clouds are right there across portions of South America, so Venezuela, Guyana, French Guyana, Suriname as usual. And even if we take a look at the Doppler radar images, we can see that we indeed had some amount of rainfall right there across portions of the northeastern Caribbean. And look at the way in which it's moving. No easterly flow being experienced across the Caribbean at this time. All of this rainfall is being pushed off towards the east, and that's due to the fact that we have a lot of weak easterly trade winds across the entire Caribbean region at this time. And with the lack of winds, that will lead to some warming of the sea surface temperatures across the Caribbean, and that might in turn have an increasing effect on the upcoming hurricane season as well. Taking a look at the Barbados radar, we don't have much going on at this time. We see some amount of isolated shores right there across portions of the Grenadine Islands at this time. Taking a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images, we see that rainfall that we saw on the other radar images across portions of Puerto Rico, the US and the British Virgin Islands. We can see some rainfall right there across portions of Cuba. And if we also take a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we can see that majority of the Eastern Caribbean will be in the clear, so they should be receiving average temperatures. The below average temperatures seem to be right there across portion of the United States. However, Florida seems to be in for some above normal temperatures for 1 p.m. on Sunday, not to mention sections of Cuba, western tip of Cuba that is, as well as majority of Central America. We can see some below average temperatures right there, anywhere from the eastern section of Panama eastward, so northern Colombia and western Venezuela. Taking a look at the Saharan dust map for the region, let's look back at the other map. We can see that for 2 p.m. on Sunday, we have that hazy weather across portions of eastern the eastern Caribbean, maybe even spilling into sections of northern Colombia, northwestern Venezuela. Maybe the ABC Islands getting in on some slight haze as well, with majority of the haze associated with the Sahara Desert right there across the main development region as well as Africa. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, it makes sense that the highest waves right there across the northern portion of the North Atlantic, and we have consensus on both the Euro and the JFS, and that's due to the fact that the strongest winds will be up there, as indicated by all of those yellows. So we know that the yellows represent 25 to 30 knot winds, and right now lots of blues across majority of the Caribbean that indicate, let's say, anywhere less than 10 knot wind, especially across the southern Caribbean. Alright, so taking a look at the rain forecast for tomorrow, we can see that we even have up to an inch of rainfall that's expected across portions of the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, that might lead to some isolated flash flooding in some spots. Majority of the eastern Caribbean, the Leeward Islands that is, we should be seeing some amount of rainfall across maybe Anguilla, St. Martin, St. Bart, portions of Antigua, Barbuda, spilling into sections of Guadeloupe, Dominica, and even if we take a look southward, we see a lot of rainfall being predicted from now up until 10 p.m. on a Sunday, or sections of Trinidad and Tobago, portions of eastern Venezuela, even up to 2 or more inches of rainfall across those spots, portions of Barbados and areas west of there, so St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Grenada. And if we take a look at the Euro model, we see consensus as well, we see agreement. I know that when we have agreement or consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Moving ahead to the western portion of the basin, we can see a lot of rainfall right there across portions of southern Texas and the waters to the east of there, so the Gulf of Mexico, not to mention sections of Mexico as usual, and we have consensus right there. We don't have much consensus across portions of let's say Guatemala. We see rainfall across Guatemala and the GFS, but not that much on the Euro. We see consensus in the fact that there's no rainfall being expected across Belize or Honduras as well. So I know that when we have consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.